2018, I'm doing SEO the rest of 2017, and about halfway through 2018, it hits me. I'm like, I can't continue like this because every time I get to 10,000, I lose a client and I go down to 7. And I realized, man, I got to go back into lead gen because that's where the assets are. And so I was like, it just clicked. I got to get into lead gen. And we started focusing on lead generation. We still had the SEO deals paying the bills, but we started focusing on lead generation. And guys, this is the key. And this is what I want to tell you guys where I've gotten into trouble. I made the mistake of doing the pay per lead model with a shitty due diligence process from a program that used to be relevant, but was no longer relevant, but I didn't know at the time. And what actually ended up happening, one of those 2 deals that I got in the very beginning was a pay per lead deal, which I would never do again, but I didn't know that. People in the groups that I were in were like, yeah, do pay per lead because you can make as much money as you want. And it sounds good on paper. And it was in an industry, specifically a city, that was extremely competitive. But I got the one honest business owner, the one business owner that was good at closing, and he was good enough on the phone, he was good enough at closing that the leads that I was sending him, he was making money on. So he had no problem paying me exactly what I was sending him. So I'm sitting here going, man, this works. Pay per lead it is. And I was in this industry called foundation repair, which is super high ticket. It looks really good on paper. And it worked with that specific client because he was good. And the area somehow I ranked because it wasn't that low hanging of fruit. My due diligence process was terrible, but I made money and I just mistakenly assumed that I was good and that was the right industry. And I didn't know what I was doing, guys. And I went and I built 50 plus websites in this one freaking industry, all with the intention of doing pay per lead. And guys, let me just tell you what happened. Everything was doing okay. But what I didn't anticipate was that business owners have a limit. Business owners, once you start sending them a certain amount of leads, they no longer want them because they can no longer handle them or because they're not good at closing and they get scared. And as much as you think you're going to do a pay per lead model and you're going to send them millions of leads and make $10,000 from one client, it's not going to happen because 99% of the businesses out there are not equipped to handle large quantities of leads. And once the little guy hits his threshold of 10 or 15 or 20, he is not going to want any more leads, but he can't come and tell you that because you're on a pay per lead deal. So instead what he's going to do is he's going to downplay the quality of your leads. They're going to start going through with a red pencil. They're going to start complaining. They're going to start not calling the leads. They're not going to try because they get charged per lead. I didn't anticipate that. You know what else I didn't anticipate? I didn't anticipate that if I'm on a pay per lead model, that as soon as things slow down because of the winter, because of Christmas, that my income is going to go from $20,000 to $5 because the volume of leads, I'm charging $100 a lead and I'm getting 200 leads. Now I'm getting 50 leads and now my income just dropped to $5,000 overnight. You know what else I didn't anticipate? I didn't anticipate how dishonest business owners were. We would send leads with good faith and we would send a month's worth of leads and then we would invoice. Duh. We had 2 experiences where we literally sent a lot of leads. I remember there was one company, we sent at $100 a lead, we sent 150 leads. There was a couple different sites and we were trying to run ads, didn't know what we were doing, and we had all this stuff going. We sent a couple hundred, we sent 150 leads. It was a $15,000 invoice. And we were using the credit card to run the business. We were using the credit card to pay for the ads. And then when we would get paid, we'd pay off the credit card. There'd be a little bit left over. And that's how we were doing it. We were just kind of rolling it like that. And I'm like, Kyle, that person that you closed, I know you're not the debt collection guy, but I can't get a hold of them and we're not getting paid. And we have a credit card bill of $12,000 and $15,000 supposed to come in and we need to get that paid. And I remember sitting in the office and Kyle's calling the guy and Kyle's frustrated because his commission, part of it's sitting in that check. And I remember he answered the phone. He's like, hey man, we got to get paid, blah, blah, blah. And I remember the guy goes, these leads are shit. I haven't closed any of them. Of course, blaming us, typical victim mentality. And he's like, I'm not paying you shit. And if you want your money, come get it. And he just flat out refused to pay us. That's 15 grand. So now instead of being a positive 3,000, I'm a negative 12. And I still got to pay my commissions on these guys. The sales guys are still making money. I'm not. I'm swallowing that. And I remember there's another company that owed us, I think it was about 8 to 10 grand. And we kept calling and calling and calling. And they give us their secretary who was their mom and this and this and this excuse. And guess what, guys? Eventually they finally answered the phone and they said, there's been a tragedy. This thing happened, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to have to file bankruptcy. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at Kyle, I'm like, dude, is this real? And sure as shit, because I sent them to collections because they owed us $8,000 to $10,000 that I needed. They went bankrupt and we never got paid. And these things kept happening and we'd get a little bit more behind and a little bit more behind. And all this added up to, I got myself into $60,000 of debt. I remember sitting there going, I am worse off right now than I was when I came into this world, because at least when I came in this world, I didn't owe shit. completely clean slate. And now I'm negative 60. That was 2019, negative $60,000 in debt. The beautiful part about the story, figured out this process. I got very simplistic and very obsessed with figuring this out. And guys, within 8 months, I'd paid off my debt. I was making $100,000 a month. We were getting bids on the pool. I was buying real estate. My entire life changed.